Welcome to another session of wisdom talks and meditation. You're joining myself and Acyuta Gopi today, where we're going to be doing power of prayer, which is a subject that we both are quite attached to. So attached that I think we've done about 16 sessions now on this. It's something that has been. Oh yes, you're testing. Can I hear me? No, that's all right. We've been doing this for some time now, so it's really nice. And now on top of that, we are in our spiritual sail mode because we are hitting that time of the year where it all begins and starts. You know, we're going to have a new year coming in. We've got this opportunity to really delve deep and start it off fresh. And also thank you to everyone joining in. Sonam, as you do. Govinda Hari, always in a hurry to join in. I really like that. Geeta, thank you. Radhanath, thank you so much. Itzakshi, you're here. Really, really. It's nice to see some regulars now. Getting to know you guys, your questions and starting to make that type of spiritual family. So thank you for that. And thank you also to Acyuta Gopi, who's here too. Hey! So good to see you today. How are you?
I'm doing well. We're changing seasons, so there's like all kinds of sniffles, but we're good.
Yes. Is anybody else going through that? Is anyone else feeling these changes of seasons? You got the sniffles?
Nandi has the sniffles.
Oh, the little one got sniffles as well. Oh, it's cute when the little ones get it, but we don't want them to get it as well. So today, everybody, we want to hit to another section of course, it's the month of Kartika. It's the holy month, the month of all months. Okay. And we want to talk about some things such as should we say some of the practices we do and why we do it. Is something we wanted to go into today. Hit that spiritual science behind it. Why is it so important that we do it? What is the necessity of it? And I just want to also say, wow, we've got people watching us from the Philippines, by the way.
I saw that.
You saw that, Estrada. Thank you so much. So nice to see you. So nice. Nandish joining us as well. And some people are mentioning their names in different other languages that I just do not understand. So I do apologize. I cannot read this language. I think it's Hindi, so I'm sorry. So thank you to everybody for coming on. And this is what we want to talk about today. So I think we should get into it. And while we have these questions, I want questions coming through today, guys. Anything that you're feeling, any type, doesn't matter what it is. And especially the Balaram Desh Youth Cluster that's joined us. Bring those young questions out. Whatever's on your mind, bring it out, because this is your time to ask whatever you want behind the screen. And we will then try and answer those as best as we can. So just to start off with, now we're into Kartik. Can I ask Acyuta Gopi, because there's people, again, we have people that are expert practitioners. Then we got some people that are new to these practices, and some, to be honest, find it very confusing. And we've got people from Dubai who are watching who want to know what they can do too. So Santosh, thank you so much for joining us today. So first of all, the practices, if we just had a general overview of what we do in Kartik. We talked about vows, but just the spiritual practices we do especially. Can I just ask you on that, please?
One of the, I think, most widely known practices during Kartik is to daily offer a candle or a ghee lamp, some sort of light to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, offering that light to the divine. And there are many ways of looking at the significance of offering that particular light, whether it be the light of our own hearts, whether it be the very illumination of our souls, offering that to the divine, whether it be offering one of the most intense, pure elements. So these things sometimes wind up substituting riches that we do not have. So this offering of Sometimes we see incense offered, fire offered, flowers offered, different kinds of fans offered. So they stand in place, not just of the elements. So if you see, sometimes you take a bath in a holy river and you offer the water of that holy river back into the river. So it's like offering the elements of the entire universe back to He whom has created all of the elements. But also it stands in place of riches that we don't have. So in bygone times, they would offer jewels as the best of the earth. They would offer like gold, signifying the best of the element of fire. And since we don't have that, we can still offer the elements of earth and fire, air and water, and even ether. So we hear that we have bells ringing, which can signify the offering and the changing of the ether. We have the conch shell, which often signifies the offering of this element of the ether, something that's very mystical and intangible. But we see that we have incense, the best that the earth can offer, and we have flowers, which represent the very fragrance of the earth. But similarly, we have this fire. So one of the most widely known practices is offering this ghee lamp to the divine. And it is so special that it is said in so many places that it can just offering a lamp can liberate not only yourself from miseries and material obstacles, but generations of your family forward and backward. So it can, so 3 generations sometimes, 10 generations sometimes, 1,000 generations other times. So depending upon which day it is. And then what happens is sometimes you ever have a Tulsi plant, which unfortunately does not stay, leaves, right? And so this when the Tulsi plant leaves, sometimes you wonder, okay, what do we do with her? Or sometimes you get a branch of a Tulsi plant that has, gone through some trauma or has gotten broken off somehow by accident. What do I do with it? So one thing is you can put it into a sacred river. Another thing is you can bury it. But another thing is you can keep it. And when that branch, those twigs, when they dry out, you can use them to offer your lamps during Kartik.
A spiritual hack, life hack is coming up, everyone. Pay attention. This is something that is so important. Please, please, please.
And when you offer a lamp with a Tulsi twig either in it or wrapped around it, however you choose to do it, when you offer that Tulsi with that lamp, it magnifies that offering. Like some say 1,000 times, some say 100,000 times. So it's like offering 100,000 of those diyas or lamps. So not only is this month a spiritual wholesale in and of itself, but if you add things in, they magnify the magnified offering which is already done.
This point what you just made, this is something that's a bit of a secret, but hey, it's out now. It's out. This is something that's really, really will help. I know personally myself, because when we have Tulsi Marani, the holy, divine in your house, and sometimes the leaves do break and it becomes bigger, and you have some of them dry out. We keep them for that specific reason. Throughout the year, we keep them, and then when you're offering your candle, and if you can do it with ghee lamp, it's much more better. But I appreciate that some places that's not possible. So even if you get a candle and you put Tulsi in there as well, just where the wick is, just a little bit of Tulsi, just where the wick is, and just squeeze together. And then when you light it, then offer it. Then that's when the power happens as well, because you're offering directly Tulsi to the divine. Okay, and the questions came since we are coming on to this. Which Tulsi Devi, Krishna or Ram?
Doesn't matter. That's what I've heard. It doesn't matter. It's whichever Tulsi. And, we get caught up on, Krishna or Ram. And I actually found out just a few days ago that there are so many, like 9, 10, 12 different kinds of Tulsi plants. But I feel that she's so merciful that if she has appeared and if you have that opportunity, it's about packing in that love and devotion. So that's what this whole month is about. We spoke about it last week, that Krishna is hungry for that love. So as long as we pack in that love and devotion. So sometimes, even if you're thinking, oh, I don't have a Tulsi plant, it's okay. It's okay. What I do is during the summer, my Tulsi is quite big. And so she goes to my parents' house because they have a nice big backyard. She gets to be outside in the sun. She goes nice and strong. But during the time when she's not in my house, I have a printed photo of Vrinda Devi in a nice Tulsi, Tulsi like garden that I printed out from the internet. So I just keep her on my altar and just remember that she's still here. So even if you find that you don't have a Tulsi in your home, print out a picture, put it on your altar, and just with love, remember her as we ornament our different offerings.
So this is the most important part. If you don't have it, your mind, offer from your mind. That's what it is. So remember, have it on the altar, offer it from that way. And there's also benefit there as well. So this is true because a lot of people say, hey, post us some of those twigs, those transcendental twigs, and we won't have any left by the end of it. But it doesn't matter. You can do it with, and that's what even myself, that's what we were doing first as well. When we heard about this, it's like, oh my God, we're missing out. But I said, no, even by think of it in the mind, this is how spirituality works. This is the potency of spirituality. When we have that pure thought and then we offer, it's just as good. So please, everybody, this month, offer a lamp to the divine. And, we do it to Krishna. We leave it to you who you believe in. But if you want to know about what we do with Krishna, we're just going to talk a bit much more. And please apply it where you feel practical for yourselves. So I want to ask the thing, when even applying, doing the lamp. So we'll come on to the lamp part because, of course, that earth, fire, air, ether, water, what you said that we're made of, we're offering with love. That's like the divine doesn't need anything from us. All he wants is love from us. Yeah. So it's like saying, whatever I am, I'm offering you back with love. That is the true essence of why we are doing this. And Crystal, you said you're using tea lights. That's fine. Use what you've got. Okay. The mind is the most important here. But talking of that, some people will just go once round, and some I've seen they'll go and maybe, do a little dance while they're doing it. I'm joking. They don't. There's all these different ways. But I'm hearing, can we break it down if we can, like, what we should start with, and then because there's some questions I've got and things I've heard, and I want to just run it past you. And if anybody else has that questions, why do we do certain ways? Why we do this? Please do message it on the group. So now we've got the lamp. What's the best way to offer? How should we offer first when we're doing the lamp itself?
So Sachinandan Maharaj was giving a talk at a yoga studio, and it was a yoga studio with a beautiful murti of Lord Ganesh in the center. But on the side, they had gorgeous Radha Krishna deities whose names were Radha Damodar. And he came during the sacred month of Kartik, and it was a place here in New York, and he was giving a lecture, and then he was advising about offering the lamps. And so, of course, he was giving the injunction that always clockwise. You try and offer them clockwise. And someone was saying, oh, should we do it once around? Should we do it 3 times around? Should we do it 4 times around? Should we do it this way or that way? And he said, to make it so simple, he said, if you are able to offer 7 times around the deity, which is quite a mystical number and can...
My lucky number.
Auspicious. Same, mine too. My favorite. I was born on a 7 day.
Same here. Yeah, I was the 7th as well. Wow.
Really?
Yeah. Now
so,
you know why she's my sister from another mother.
Mister,
yeah. Sister from another mister.
So yeah, he was saying if we need to make it simple, Sometimes we are not able to remember everything, and that's okay. Said, so if we offer 7 times around, then we offer our prayer and our heart and our wishes, so then that's enough. And on the subject of what if we get it wrong, or what if, all these things can come up in our minds. There's a story. My sister told it just recently. There's a story, and there was a rat that was in a temple. The rat goes into the temple, and it sees that there's a lamp, a little diya, a ghee lamp burning. And so the rat tries to eat the ghee. But in the meantime, it gets the ghee wick stuck in its teeth. And so somehow, because the ghee wick was lit and on fire, the rat starts hopping because it's hot. And so what happens is eventually the rat burns and dies. However, it was happening to be the month of Kartik. And it says that the Supreme Lord took the action of the rat jumping as offering that diya, because it had this burning ghee wick even in its mouth. So even though the rat's intention wasn't even pure, had nothing to do with following religiosity or spirituality, the Supreme Lord took that as service and liberated the rat, gave it the highest perfection of life. So even if we think, oh, I don't understand everything behind it. Oh, I don't know if my intentions are completely pure. Sometimes I'm still praying for so many different things. Just do it anyway. The Lord makes a big deal out of a little service.
Wow.
And for us, I feel like we need that.
That's the way. You can see this is the part. It's the intention again. Sometimes you think, oh, it's here. It wasn't even the intention. We say about intention. Here, the rat was just like, oh my God. But because it was at such a right time, right place, it was fine. And that's the way. It's like that pastime of the person saying Narayana, and who was his son.
Yeah.
And then what happened is that the divine saw that as him purely asking for him, but actually it's purely asking for his son. But again, this is the beauty here, everybody. Now, we don't have to be completely perfect. Long as we try with all our hearts to call out or try our best, that's what's important here. So I also just want to say the name I couldn't pronounce. There's a person writing in another language. There's a question about the soul. We will definitely come on to this. We want to keep it today, if we can, the questions around Damodar, around this practice of Arti, what we're doing, and then all the things like that. So please do bear with us. We will be taking other questions, but we really want to keep it Pacific for today, if that's okay, because it's a very important thing. I want a concrete proof. Yes, we'll give you a concrete proof answer to
Well,
about
I
the
think
soul.
he's asking, how does he know the rat goes to Krishna's dham, and he wants concrete proof? I mean, you could just go ask Krishna. Here's the thing. If we don't want to believe, what kind of people does that make us? That we refuse to want to believe that Krishna would give his unlimited mercy. Now, this story gets passed down from different Puranas. So if we don't want to believe, what does that make us? What does that mean for our hearts? Either that we're hard-hearted, or that we've been through so much trauma that we refuse to want to trust Krishna. But Krishna is always trustworthy. He's always reliable. And he is always working in our favor. Sometimes it's just us that can't get out of the way of seeing that, which also brings into the illuminating power of offering a diya. Let it illuminate that trust within our hearts that's been covered over by so much darkness of doubt. Oh, my Lord, as I offer this lamp, illuminate my heart so that I can trust you more, so that now I have firm faith in your mercy.
Wow. Thank you so much. There we go. Let's look at the positives. Let's take it from that angle. It's always good in that way. What a point, Itzhak says. So true, says DPD. Thank you so much for that. So I want to go on to the technicalities now, if I may.
Yes, please.
Say the thing. This point, because I know some are asking, in some parts, when you're really going deep and you've been doing this for a few years, somebody will say to you, instead of just doing it once, do it 4 to the feet, do it 2 to the belly, do it 3 to the head, and do 7 all the way around. Why? Why do we say this?
Jagannath, you have to tell us. I want to hear it from you. I like it. I love the way you explain it.
Well, I'll do the 4, 3, 2, and you talk about the 7. You talked about the 7. You said about the auspicious, but there's this aspect I heard from a very reliable source in the Krishna conscious movement, a senior person, and what they said was, and it really made logical sense to me, and that is that actually it tells us how long to make sure the emphasis is where our focus is. Usually, if you notice that when we are looking at the divine, we have to be in the mood of a servant. So what do? We should look at the feet first. As you've seen, you'll have the tilak. People have the tilak on. We constantly are bowing to the divine's feet. This is what the tilak is representing with Tulsi here, right? So here, the idea is we focus more at the feet. That's why the 4, because you don't want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, counting. It's actually scientifically, when you go 4, you're focusing at the feet. Then 2 at the belly. And then 3 at the head. So this is the amount of time you should. And actually in the olden days, when light wasn't there like we have today, there was the diya that was really lighting them up. So by putting it close to them, they could see the feet so nicely. And this would keep them in time in knowing how long to focus on what parts. And actually it makes us concentrate more. What is more important? It's actually being at the lotus feet of the divine. This is the reason. So this is the 4, 2, 3 of why it's done in this way. This is something that has really, really made me, because I'm a logical person. I like to spiritually understand in a very logical way why we do it. And this is the answer that really did come to me, through a devotee. And I that's what I've seen. So if there's anything else on that, I would love to hear.
Yeah, as far as I know, the act of arti, even besides offering all the best of everything, even besides offering all the elements of the body back to the divine, we have arti as the supreme act of welcoming the most honored guest into your presence. So if we notice in Vedic culture, and still in a lot of Indian homes, before you have a guest, or even before someone's come back from a long journey, you have an arti thali, you have your arti tray with different specific items set up to be able to ward off inauspiciousness and to bring in auspiciousness. And so this is the act of offering this diya. And it really works during Diwali, which comes up later in the month. But we welcome the divine as a guest, an honored guest into our lives, into our homes, into our hearts. So we get to offer this lamp, and we get to offer it 7 times around, which is able to ward off this inauspiciousness and is able to invoke all the auspiciousness that we can muster up from the entire atmosphere. And also it's like, you never ask a guest to enter into darkness, which is why the light is very, very important. So you illuminate the entire area and you bring it to a place where it's very illuminated, very bright. And then you say, oh, please, oh, my friend, oh, my master, however it is you think of the divine, please enter, please come in. I've just been waiting to receive you.
Wow. See the mindset, everybody. You see in this aspect of loving. So the techniques are there, but there's always a meaning behind it. The reason for the light as well is there. Yes, it's to warn off evil spirits. Actually, it's much more than that. It's much more than that. As what you just said from Acyuta Gopi. Crystal is asking, am I right in thinking it is at 8 p.m. each day? So she's asking, offering arti. She's put at 8 p.m. each day. Is that right?
I've seen so many people do it at so many times. It kind of depends on where you are and what the facility is. Sometimes in New York, we would do it at 8:30 for the last RT. Sometimes we would do it twice at 6:30 and 8:30. Like it
Yeah.
depends on where you are. So even sometimes in Mayapur, I've seen they'll do it at like 7 p.m. It depends. Some people, they do it in the morning and in the evening, depending upon your enthusiasm and depending upon the time that you have. So sometimes people will do it before they leave for work because they really want to center their minds around the Supreme. And then they'll do it again in the evening when they come home from work. Really, again, focusing their mind on the Supreme.
Fantastic. And Radhika, I've just seen your question come. We will come on to that as well about the things that we can do. We'll try to refrain from. Yeah, we'll talk about some of that. I've had some lovely little comments coming in. I just wanted to share. Srinivas, so thank you. That's very kind of you. Listening to both of you feels so divine. That is very nice. Mini Shankar is saying, Dia burns off the negative energy. Completely correct. Mano, good message, good knowledge. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Well, thank you, Manohar. Really, really appreciate that you're here. And then, of course, we got Parish that's given. Normally 7 in the evening is the norm, Sandhya time. So that's the time that some artis are happening. And yes, so really, you know what the point here is again, when you can, try. There's no harm in doing more than once. If you really want, if you want to make the most of it, just take it from the heart. As long as you do it once a day at a time that you think's okay for you, then do it. That's the main thing. And doing that right consciousness mind, the mind of how we're offering it. Sometimes technique, we sometimes get so fixated with technique. I've seen it. Oh yeah, it's good to do like this, that. But actually what we're saying is get our minds right first. Get our thought process right. Think about like what Acyuta Gopi has just said. We're lighting up the area, the lightest part in our place to welcome the divine to come. It's like, if you have a guest, that's why this is what I love about Vedic culture, that we treat our guests as good as God. Like I come from the UK, and just a side note, one thing is when I go somewhere, we knock on the door and we talk on the door. Okay. Sometimes we don't even, it's not like, they don't even come in. I remember coming to America once and I thought all Western countries are, but I came to America and I did a student exchange and I was staying with a family in Toppenish, which is just outside Seattle. And I was staying with them and I was in the room and their friends would just come in. Hey, go straight to the fridge, chill out.
Yeah.
They had this, like, I was like, we're quite reserved here in the UK. and here, they're just so welcoming. And that's actually how it should be. What we're saying is the door is open. Please come in. You are my guest of honor. This house is your house. Everything I have is yours. So actually, that's the mindset. That's why even if you do have a picture of the divine, or you have deities like you might have, or whatever you do, put them in the most prominent place in your home. Even if it's a flat and you've got 2 rooms, put them in the biggest room. This is your room. Don't tuck them in the corner in a little place and in a cupboard away. Bring them out in the most, and have that type of mindset, and then offer the deer. So
one person was saying, they're like, surely you can't just do arti as and when you like. However, one thing that Sachinandan Maharaj was able to touch on was that maybe for trained second initiated Brahman pujaris, there are so many rules and regulations.
Yeah.
And he's like, but right now you are not that.
Yeah.
Right now, when you offer that diya, you get to put all that aside. Right now, it is all about the love. This entire pastime, most of the pastimes during Damodar month, during Kartik month, have to do with leaving aside. What does the translation for Damodarashtakam say? He is revealing to all of those who worship him with knowledge that he is not to be conquered by awe and reverence, and only by those who have pure love for him. So this is the point. We are trying to develop the soft-hearted, that churned butter softness of the heart, so that we can offer that to the Supreme. Over and above all of the rules, all of the regulations, all of everything. What if you are a person who works crazy hours? Do we just say that Krishna is so hard-hearted that he says, never mind, I don't accept anything from you? This is our Krishna who hand-fed butter to monkeys. This is our Krishna who willingly had himself tied up by the belly with ropes. He whose belly is the abode of the entire universe says, even to a rat, I will accept your frantic dancing in fear. I accept that as service. Did you ask me to? No. But because you did it in front of me, I accept. He will take all the good and he will leave everything else.
There you
So
go.
this is our baby Krishna. These are the unparalleled, unique pastimes that Krishna shows as a baby. He can give liberation to a witch who comes to try and kill him when he's 3 days old, and accept that as service. We hear about Putana. She goes and she tries to kill Krishna with milk from her own breasts that she's now mixed with poison. Krishna will accept the milk and reject the rest. And he'll still say, okay, I accept that as service. Did she ask him to? No.
No.
But he does it anyway. So this is our Krishna. So as a Brahmin priest, can you perform arti just whenever, wherever, haphazardly? No. But during Kartik, are we looking at it as Brahmin priests? Not exactly. We are now lovers of the divine in each and every way that we choose to love him with all our hearts. That's our focus. To try and say, oh my Lord, whatever I have done knowingly or unknowingly, if I've performed some devotional service, please accept that. And whatever mistakes I've committed knowingly or unknowingly, please leave those aside. But whatever love I have for you, knowingly or unknowingly, please accept that. And there are, in fact, prayers that pujaris often say at the end of their service to ask for forgiveness, knowingly or unknowingly. If I've done anything to offend you, please leave that aside. But if I've done some service, even if I didn't even know I was doing service, please accept that. Please know that it's all for you.
Amazing. There you go. Thank you so much. We're going into some nice points here, like we do. I love it. Thank you for these questions. And I've got some comments as well coming in. I thought we'll just go. So there's two parts. Radhika Suku has said, I heard there is certain things we can not eat in this month, like not cook with mustard seeds. And so what's the reason for this? And also just on that, a nice thing I just want to put out here, just on the other platform, Kalipa Das says, in Kartik we, people of Odisha. Okay, wow, you're in Jagannath Puri land. Excellent, Odisha. Generally prohibit non-veg for the entire month. The month is also known as Dharma month, hashtag. So we try to donate the needy and help the poor. We also remember our forefathers and ancestors by offering lamp towards the sky. It's a very nice festival which celebrates in the state of Odisha during the last days of Kartik months. So in the first part, they're talking about not eating non-veg or doing certain things. Here we're going into more detail about certain do's and don'ts with mustard seeds, etc. So can we first, I think it'd be nice just on this aspect, what's the reason for the prohibitednesses? Yeah.
Prohibitive.
Yeah, that's the one. What's the reason? Why should we prohibit that? And then we'll go down layers and layers, if that's all right, on that, because I think that's an important one to really hit.
So usually we look at, there are 4 pillars of dharma, right? We have cleanliness, austerity, truthfulness. I always have a trouble with the 4th one. Mercy.
Mercy.
Cleanliness, austerity, truthfulness, and mercy. And so when we have our 4 regulative principles, which we hear a lot within ISKCON, we have no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, and no intoxication. See, because it becomes rote after a while, when you hear it from baby growing up, you're just like, yeah, just stay away from all of it. But yeah, these correspond to helping us to uphold those 4 pillars of truth within our lives. So the non-meat eating corresponds to mercy. And I was just reading in Srimad Bhagavatam today how they were saying that act of even eating cooked animals or killing cooked animals or killing animals to be cooked, etc., erodes at that idea of mercy. So generally, it's prohibited. We are prohibited from eating meat, fish, or eggs to uphold that ideal of mercy within our lives and within our spiritual practice. And then we hear of all kinds of different, rule breakings and whatever. So we hear even within the time of the great acharyas, there was an acharya who visited Jagannath Puri, and he saw that so many of the pujaris, Jagannath Puri is a big fishing town. So a lot of people were eating fish. They were then going to, worship Lord Jagannath and do all kinds of different things. So they were, the acharya was quite confused. And so he said, we have to reform this whole deity worship thing. We have to make these rules. We have to make sure that all of you are following these rules at all times of the year. You cannot do things whimsically like this. And then that acharya went to sleep. Lord Jagannath came in a dream and said, what are you doing? These are my devotees. They've been worshiping me with love in their heart. And then that devotee got a swift kick from Lord Jagannath, even the Lord who outwardly doesn't seem to have feet. He got a swift kick from him and wound up thousands of miles away in a place called Kurmakshetra. So for us, what is the point? We can often feel like the police of so many different people and traditions. And the point for us is that we can never measure the amount of love within someone else's heart as they are worshiping the deity. So it is so important for us to be compassionate and soft-hearted, and sometimes to say, well, everyone's karma, this and that seems like a Yamaraj thing. That seems like somebody else's department. That's not my job. My job is to do the best of my ability and to be so engrossed in offering the Lord the best of everything that I have that I can't even see what's going on with somebody else. And sometimes that happens to be the best way of dealing with things. So we look at the things that are prohibited, and then sometimes we say, oh, but you shouldn't do this, and you shouldn't be doing that, and you shouldn't be doing that. And then, but there's the old saying that you point one finger at somebody, there's 3 others pointed back at you. Yeah. So we have
mentality is so important.
Yeah, we have to look at, what are we doing? How am I working during this month to uphold those 4 pillars of truthfulness, cleanliness, austerity, and mercy? What am I doing?
One thing on this as well, that a reflection when I was just looking into this as well, these 4 points. Why actually do we have these pillars? Actually, if you think about it, these 4 pillars are there to just elevate us from animals into humans. Because what do animals do? Eat, sleep, mate, and defend. Okay, that's what they do. And if we didn't have these 4 pillars, we'd be no different than to an animal in the way we do things. So this is not even taking us to the spiritual mode. This is just helping us become a good human being. So this is the thing to remember, everybody, is that, but this is very important. That doesn't mean we go around and go, oh, you're doing this, you're doing that. Look at yourself. Look at what you're doing. And that's what's really important here. Don't worry about others, the way we treat others is like, I remember Bhakti Brihad Bhagwat Swami. He does a beautiful Namarita course, and he was talking. I can't go through all of it because you have to go on a course. But there's one thing I can tell you about, because he said, hey, I don't want to, he did say one thing that's, I think this mentality really struck in me. We have to think that we are the judges for everybody, but we're our own lawyers. So this person doing this, but oh no, but for me, it's like this is the mentality we go through. We're the judges for everyone, but the lawyers for ourselves, And he said that when we see somebody and they're doing something, like for example, if you're in a class, there's some things, etiquettes, which I'll just give you an example. You don't need to know this now. If you're new, don't worry. But if somebody's giving a class and then you're doing some, say, chanting or meditation, you're not fully focusing on the class. It's like, what are you doing? You're not paying attention. If you're driving in your Beamer and you're chanting japa and you're not focusing, then what are you doing? So all these type of things he was saying, but he said that, look, if somebody's doing that, we should think, oh my God, they're doing extra rounds. They're so attached to the name that they're just chanting it all the time. Even in class, they're chanting it. Even in the car, they're chanting it. So you see the mindset we need to have, that don't let there's certain things that others may be doing. We don't know where they are. You don't know if they've done their quota and they're doing extra. What we should do is remember in ourselves that's something I shouldn't do because I haven't even done my own quota. I haven't done this. Similarly, like this, I think this is important value to bring in when we're talking about devotional life, is let's not judge. Let's work on ourselves, because somebody may not wear white or may not do certain things. Doesn't mean that this is correct. Externals is one thing. Let's work on the internals. This is so important in spiritual life. Yeah. We're not this body, we're the spiritual soul.
An even more astonishing story. There was once a butcher.
Oh, yes.
Right? A butcher. And he had what is called a shalagram shila. Now, these are sacred stones found near the town of Shalagram, often in the sacred river of the Godavari. And these sacred stones are so imbued with the potency of Lord Vishnu that they don't even have to be installed.
We're just getting Acyuta Gopi back. Okay, you're back. Just a little bit. You said Lord Vishnu, then it went poof.
Yeah, and now
Are you back? I'm just checking. I'm just checking.
I'm good now.
Okay. Good. Yeah. Please.
So yeah, these are the forms of Vishnu, and they don't even have to be formally installed. Vishnu is so potent within them that you can just worship them straight out of the river. This butcher had a shalagram. And shalagrams, they tend to weigh a certain amount, and they're very pure when they weigh that way. So what this butcher would do is, if he had to weigh a certain slab of meat, he would put the shalagram on one end of the scale, the meat on the other end of the scale. He would weigh it, and then he would give the customer their goods. And after that, because he didn't have anywhere else to keep the shalagram, sometimes he'd keep it on his person, sometimes he'd keep it in his mouth. And so one day, an acharya comes, and he's like, what is he doing with this shalagram? What a horrible atmosphere. So the acharya takes the shalagram. And once again, in that shalagram appears in a dream. He says, what are you doing? That was my home. I was having a nice swing festival every day. He'd put me on the scale would tilt, I would have a swing festival. Then he would put me in his mouth like he wasn't, he was giving me the best atmosphere he could. Why are you taking me away? Bring me back. I was having so much fun. This is the divine supreme personality of Godhead. Now coming in a dream to a person who says, but I can give you all the rules and regulations. I can give you everything. I made the rules and regulations. I want the love. I want that spontaneous devotion. So It just goes to show. I'm like, I can only police myself. I can only do the best that I can and pray, oh, my friend, accept my love and just leave all the rest because I can't do everything properly. And if I spend my time critiquing others, all it does is turn my heart into stone. The heart that I've spent all this time churning into trying to get it to go to sweet, sweet butter that our butter thief wants to steal, it will just turn it to stone. And who wants to eat that, hard rock candy? Like, it's going to crack his poor little teeth.
No, that's such a nice. See, this is the mood. And thank you. And I also want to give a big shout out to Laura Pauline Gentile. You've been putting some really amazing comments just about your life. And I just want to just say, it's amazing how, some of the actions you've taken. I've seen a few comments coming from her. I just wanted to give her a shout out on that. What I really like about this is that people are having reflections as these talks are going on, and they're having these realizations, they're sharing them, and it's like we're helping each other, and that's what this community is about. And I'll put one that Laura's put, we check ourselves, not others. I can't seem to reach you, although sometimes I preach you. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's so true. It's like we need to have that type of mood of care and compassion. So I think today we've gone through a few things. We talked about some of the why we do certain aspects, the Diya, also about some of the things about the 4 pillars of Dharma, what that's about, why we do it. We're going into the spiritual science, everybody. See, and then at the same time, we're hearing these amazing pastimes that really brings it solidly back. So we got a bit of philosophy in there. We got a bit of pastimes in there. But what we got most importantly is we're showing you that the divine has so much love there for everyone. This is the most important part. So in these times right now, people are going into other lockdowns, everything's happening. Remember, this is our time to really, really delve and connect with the divine. So try it out. Please try it out. And let's go into, just to help us reflect on some of these points. For we'll have a bit of a longer session today of some kirtan from the one and only Acyuta Gopi. So please, if we could have something, that'd be amazing.
Sure. Shri Radha Damodar ki jai, Shri Radha Govinda Dev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Yagya ki jai. Namami Shaurang Sachit Ananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamana Yashoda Bialukala Davamana Parang Rishta Matyantato Trutya Gopya Rudantam Muhurnetram Yugmam Rijantam Karamboja Yugmena Satankanetram Muhusa Sakampatrire Kankakanta Stita Grevam Damodaram Bhaktipadam Iti Driksa Lila Bhir Ananda Kunde Sagosham Nimajantam Akyapayantam Tadiye Shitageshu Bhaktajitatam Puna Prematastam Sata Vritti Vande Varam Deva Mokshamna Mokshavadim Nachanyam Vrineham Vare Sadapiha Idam Teva Purnata Gopala Bala सदा मे मनस्य विरस्तं किमन्ये idam te mukang bojam atyantanile vritam kuntale snigdha raktascha gopya muhushchumbitam bimba raktadaram me manasya virastamalam lakshalabhe Namo Deva Damodar Ananta Vishnu Prasida Prabho Dukha Jalabdi Magnam Kripa Drishti Vrishchati Dinam Vatanu Grihane Shamamagyam Edyakshidrisha Kuberatmajo Badha Mrityaiva Yadva Tayamochito Bhakti Bhajakrito Cha Tata Prema Bhaktim Sakame Prayacha Namokshe Graho Mesti Damodareha Namaste Studamne Spuradipti Damne Tvadiya Darayata Vishasya Damne O Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Radha Damodara Radhe Radhe Radha Damodara Radhe 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 Govinda Jaya Radhe 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 Govinda Jaya Radhe Radhe
Jai Shri Shri Damodar Ki Jai. Thank you so much. Everybody, we just done Radha Damodar prayers with Hare Krishna prayers. Power of prayer has taken it to another level today. So thank you so much, Acyuta Gopi, for that amazing rendition and soulful touching. kirtan and prayers today. And I had so many messages coming through, and everyone's really, really appreciating this today. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I want to say to everybody that there is something, if you want to read and go deeper, you're hearing these realizations coming out Acyuta Gopi. What will aid that is a beautiful book that she's written, Prema Mala. And I would like you to, especially in this time, and you can get this electronic version as well, so you don't even have to wait. You just can get it electronically. And so, you know, if you want hardback, great. But if you want to read right now, it's available electronically. So just go to www.mybook.to/Prema, Prema, and you can get the book today. Hey, that rhymed. That rhymed. I'm going to make these. I like these, you know, you make these jingles, they're called, isn't it? I'm just like, so what is it? www.mybook.to/Prema, Prema. Get your book today. That's what I say. So thank you, everybody. And thank you, Acyuta Gopi. You know, today, for me, what's really helped is this aspect of open, honest conversations and working on this. I know we've had comments and questions coming through. We thank you all. Also, I had some critiques coming through. And this is what I want to say to those critiquers. Look at yourself first. Let's work on ourselves first before looking out. You don't know what's going on in Acyuta Gopi's life. You don't know what's going in Jagannatha Kirtanananda's life. But you do know what's going in your life. So work on that first, like we are trying to do with ourselves. And then let's bring it out. Bring that compassion out. Bring that loving mood of serving out. Don't be so much onto the critiquing aspect. This is really important, and this is going out to all of us, especially in this month. Let's just keep it on the positive and just watch the magic that happens in your hearts. That's all I'm going to say. That's when spirituality will start. So I'm just going to finish on a few points of some of our loyal members that come on. I'm just so thankful. Destiny, Riley, you know, thank you for coming on. Always there. And she said, yes, Amazon has it. Yes, Amazon does have it. Get. That's the book. You got, thank you also to DP Deva Priya. Thank you so much. Radhika Suku. She says, thank you to you both for enlightening us with all of this information and kirtans. Feeling so blessed and love these sessions. We thank you, actually, Radhika. You come on, I know offline, you connect and really appreciate that. Shavanaidu, thank you. Horrible, thank you so much for the transporting us to Vrindavan Dham. Thank you so much, Acyuta Gopi, for transporting us today. That was amazing. Stay Divine says, name of the book again. The name of the book is Prema Mala. Prema Mala, Prema, space Mala. So that's the book. Please check it out. Shaksi's on it. It's divine. It's Prema Mala. Look, this community is amazing. They're just answering. We don't need to look. Thank you so much, Shaksi. And Balaram Youth Cluster. Balaram Desh, by the way, Acyuta Gopi, they said they love your kirtans. So I'm going to just put that shout out now. They said to me that. Balaram Desh Youth Cluster, all the best with what you're doing in the place you're doing it. We know it's called Balaram Desh, and we'll leave it at that since we're on the internet. Love the season. Thank you so much for this great message. Okay, thank you so much. And thank you to all. Let's make the best of it. And all I'm going to leave you with now is if you want to connect with us, please do. Acyuta Gopi is available on Instagram. You know, connect with her there. You can connect on the other platforms, but specifically Instagram if you can. Acyuta Gopi. So it's Acyuta space Gopi. And then they'll come up with Govinda's girl, lowercase Gopi. That's a lady. She's Govinda's girl. So go there. And myself as well, Jagannath Dasa, JAGANNATHA _DASA, Dasa. So connect and let's have those conversations. Any questions, queries, concerns, or critiques, bring them on. Let's connect with us and let's talk about it. Let's have the dialogues. Let's try to elevate our consciousnesses together. That is the mission. And on that basis, I want to say thank you. And I hope Nandi gets better soon. And Acyuta Gopi, you are a gem with all the stuff you come out with today. It's fantastic. So on that basis, we'll see you soon, everybody. Hare Krishna.